Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rise the Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Kara.
I'm Brownie.
And this is episode 15, guys.
I can't believe that.
Oh, 15 episodes of this.
It's like episode 14, but slightly worse because we're running out of stories.
Yeah, right.
We're only just going to keep getting better. Our stories are awesome.
Well, we're going to have a lot after Duluth's over because it's going to see how that goes. I'm going to be running around crazy.
Literally sitting here being like, what are we going to talk about today?
It takes time to prepare for these. But,
it does.
So we did our first live build the other day.
We did.
And the video came out Thursday. Is that the fastest turnaround for a video yet, Chris?
For a Lego video, I think.
Yeah, by a long stretch, that's the fastest turnaround.
So if you didn't hear, but the Duluth has a tall ship festival that comes every 3 years, and I saw the Lego ship in a bottle, and I thought, oh, that's like the perfect build to do down in front of the tall ships.
We've been talking about getting that Lego set for like a
Lego
year
set
now.
for a while, but that was the reason we pulled the trigger on doing it. And we didn't have the camera set up when we went down to do it, but we actually met 3 of the crew members.
Yep,
that
we did.
were from that
the Niagara.
ship. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. And we asked them like where they're going to go next, and they said that they're going to be heading back to their home port in Erie, Pennsylvania.
So yeah, they're probably where if you want to go see them, you could probably go there and see them.
Right.
But
And if you want to see the build, you can look at the little info card right up here.
yeah, check out the build that we did. There was a girl there, and she recommended a book.
Mistborn by something Sandstrom.
You have an amazing brain. I looked it up on Amazon, so I was gonna buy it, but I want to see if they have it at the library first, because libraries are awesome.
Overdrive.
Overdrive for if you want. Overdrive is a great app if you want digital.
We've talked about Overdrive, haven't we?
I don't remember anything we've talked about.
I swear we've talked about Overdrive. For those of you who don't know, it's a library-based app. You put in your library card number, and you can rent either ebooks or audiobooks for 3 weeks, and it'll automatically return it for you.
No late fees, anything like that. They do audiobook. Yeah, that's amazing.
I've probably recommended it to like half my patients because they're like, oh, I love audiobooks. And so I'm like, have you heard of Overdrive?
Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, the build was really awesome. We got to meet some great people. They had 3 kids that were 3 years apart, and they all had their each thing that they were focused on.
Yeah.
So the middle-aged kid, he loved dinosaurs. Like absolutely loved dinosaurs. The oldest brother loved the Avengers.
Oh yeah.
And then the youngest brother was like just kind of curious. He was probably maybe 6, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think
they were
like
like
6, 9, 12.
Yeah.
And so he was just like looking at everything, but
I wish I had half their energy.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, no kidding. I could not keep up with them.
I know.
A little bit.
And
The oldest one was just just talking away. They were all so cute. I was
They
like,
were super cute.
Okay.
So then they biked off, and then they biked back, and it was fun. I really want to do another live build. So
Well, I do too. Well, let's pick a different spot. Are we going to talk about the guy?
we just had one super fan. Chris had to edit it around.
It's just one of those things, like, you can't really control everything in the live environment. And the dude was just super friendly, and you could tell that, like, he just wanted somebody to talk to, and we were more or less a captive audience. So.
Exactly. So
I think we should cut together a reel of him, though. Actually, Jeremy was on the phone before we got here, and he was talking to his friend Dave, and he said, yeah, you guys should just cut together a whole entire, like, highlights film of that guy and that guy alone.
Well, we've got a couple hours of footage of him. So.
I'm sure we do. That's so funny. But yeah, it was just really cool to see all the people that.
And lots of people that we met. The dude that was talking about, he was part of this Lego club down in the cities, and he ended up being in a Lego book. That he's like, wow. I was like, that's super cool. Like, maybe this is something we should try, like, reaching out to, like, local groups and see if, like, people want to come up and, like, participate in doing some builds and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's a really good idea.
So
and have a on location one, and then
just had a thought right now about that.
my mom
like
watched
that
the Lego build, and she goes, my back is hurting. Just watch you guys build that. Why didn't you bring a taller table or chairs? And I'm like, Chris told me chairs for sure.
And Jeremy's like, oh, I'll be fine. I think you cut in there one point where I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm 100 years old.
Yes.
But it was all about, we had to, whatever we brought there, we had to carry, multiple trips in
I
the car.
totally would have carried. Okay, here's the thing. Your mom's got 2 chairs for sale. 2 blue
portable?
chairs. Yeah, they're just foldable, like, metal chairs. We should see if we can buy them from her.
All right.
They're super cute. They're bright blue. They're fun. I like them.
Ka-ching.
I'll make a chair out of Legos.
That would weigh a ton.
Yep, I think it would, and less portable than these foldable chairs.
No, make a foldable Lego chair.
You're so funny.
You just break it down and put it back in the bag.
Build it every single time.
That'll be the time-lapse Lego build right there.
Yes.
You build the chair to sit on.
Jeremy will get to this site at 6 in the morning, build it, so we're ready by the time we get there at 6 at night.
Yes.
Perfect. So that was a success. So keep an eye out for more Lego builds. Hopefully we'll do another live one down maybe by the lift bridge. Or
We got a lot of good feedback on that. And
We did. That was
handed
awesome.
out a lot of cards and
Yeah, people took pictures
Yeah.
of the sign.
Yeah.
Like literally, like any park area thing, like the Rose Garden, I think would be a cool thing.
Oh,
Or
I
Leaf
love the
Airs
Rose
in
Garden.
someplace anywhere that's near a Pokestop.
Right, yeah, right. See, so Chris can spin them.
we were next to 2 Pokestops down at. Did you drop a lure while we were there?
No, I was
Oh.
thinking about it, but then I was busy running interference.
Yes.
Oh, I suppose that's true.
So now it's time for the Star Wars section. So
Yeah.
Kara, you had some Star Wars theories that you wanted to talk about. What do you got?
So there's a new theory that's come out about who Rey is.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if you've seen this one. It's been out for probably 2 or 3 days now.
Have you?
I think she's Yoda's daughter.
Clearly.
You can tell.
No, so there's I don't know how the guy thinks that the trailer hints at this. Maybe it's because Leia and Rey are hugging. But what they're saying is, so Anakin was conceived by the Force, right? He doesn't have a father. So what this guy's theory is that Rey was also conceived by the Force into Leia.
But then Han
And
would
so,
know.
hold on. And so Han is a jealous kind of guy, right? And so that's the reason they kind of split up. I mean, how long had it been since Leia and Han saw each other?
Well, so they kind of hint at the reason why they split up was Kylo Ren joining the dark side of the Force.
that's
Kinda. Well, yeah.
But if it happened around the same time too, maybe. But
Right. And so
yeah, that's the one I always thought is like when after the destruction of Luke's Jedi training area and everything. And
I always feel like when you watch The Force Awakens that Han knew her. And they kind of imply,
Right, so, I get that.
you know, because he's like hinting, like he doesn't want to straight up ask her, but he like offers her a ride in the ship.
Well,
and gives her the
okay, so
gun.
here's the thing. If he knew about it, he knew about the pregnancy, and they said that Leia went and dropped Rey off to kind of cool things over, I guess.
I don't know if
At
Leia
Jakku?
would.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be in her character.
So I don't know.
Well, so
and
she was orphaned, and why would she?
she wasn't orphaned. She was
Well-
dumped off by her parents.
yeah,
parent.
Yeah.
Parent.
Well,
that
no,
theory.
Bail like just took her, I guess.
Oh, Leia, you're saying?
Yes.
Sorry, I was thinking rape.
Yeah, no, Leia was orphaned, so I don't know if she would orphan somebody. But who else? What other single women characters could there be? I think Han knows about it, and
Well, if she said if she,
Leia might not know about it.
My operating theory was that she was one of the younglings that would have survived like the whole thing when Kylo turned and Luke was trying to
Oh.
protect her from him and he dropped her off.
See,
on
that would
Jakku.
make sense.
That was my headcanon.
and she was just too young to really remember it.
Yeah, so like she remembers because she remembers like seeing the ship like go away and stuff, but like maybe it was like, you know, people block out traumatic experiences
true.
and stuff.
Right.
So
That's true.
and maybe that's why there's like a connection between the two of them too, is because they actually have a past together.
Well, why wouldn't Luke recognize her then?
Well,
I think he's playing.
Yeah.
like
He was playing dumb?
he knows
Okay.
that like she was was around for that scenario, and he doesn't want to be reminded of the whole Kylo Ren thing. So he's
Gotcha.
less trying to like. Can you turn that light off? Sorry.
yes, I can.
but
I
yeah,
will turn
so
it
that's
off.
Sort of
and
the,
then,
sorry,
The ugly lights on.
such a production. Such a good production here. Wow, look at that! It looks so much better.
oh, it's so much nicer.
Sorry,
without that
guys.
light. No, something else that just dawned on me too, though, is Unkar Plot. I think the guy Simon Pegg character who gives us the 3 3/4 portions.
How much for the droid? or whatever.
Yeah. So speaking of, okay, we've got to come back to the Galaxy's Edge cookbook, but
Oh, I forgot about that.
he had Han's ship. So it makes you wonder if there was like, Han has to be involved somehow.
Yeah.
Because it's like
Well,
maybe
he
he
got
get,
it
like,
from.
Well, that's what they said. He got it from him, who took it from me, or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it's like makes you maybe did Han have the ship there as like agreement to keep an eye on Rey?
What if it's the other way? What if Han accidentally, or not accidentally? What if Han stepped out and had her?
Right.
And that's why. So instead of it being an immaculate conception by Leia, it's Han had some sort of
Maybe
infidelity.
cheated on her.
and
Yeah.
so, but then Rey just ended up with like super force powers.
But I could see. Well, the Force can be in more than just one
it's
bloodline.
true. It's true. I mean, obviously, by the little boy with the broom in Last Jedi.
So I'm thinking, it's like it could be. I could see Han being more willing to be somebody that abandoned somebody somewhere.
He is a scoundrel.
Do you know what just dawned on me or whatever? The podcast after Rise of the Skywalker comes out, we're going to have a 20-hour podcast. With all the stuff to talk about.
Like the marathon spoiler cast.
I was going to say, we're going to have to slap a huge spoiler podcast all over the front of the title card.
So here's the thing. Do we have to change the name once Rise of Skywalker comes out to something else?
Yeah. The complete podcast saga.
Yeah. The podcast saga.
That's actually not a bad name.
It's not. Well, okay, now you just gave it away to somebody. We're going to have to snap that up now.
I'll buy the URL. Yeah. Well, that was like Chris. You used to reserve URLs all the time. You used to own myname.com.
I was going to...
Yeah.
That's
I was always going to threaten. I'm going to put a bunch of really gross, awful stuff up on there unless you pay me a lot of money.
Right. Just go blackmail people for their,
There was a point in time I think I had 20 people's names. As
you own all their URLs?
Yes. Cool. So here's the thing. So I have a very common name. So there's no way I will ever be able to own myname.com.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like if for some reason every person I know has a name that's unique enough that it doesn't already exist as a URL. It's like, how's that pop? Everybody that I know.
There's a quote something everybody but himself. It's like you can help everybody but yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
Get their own named URLs. So, Chris, I have a random one for you. I'm gonna throw you under the bus on the spot.
Oh,
so
great.
I switched to a new camera bag, and I found this in the camera bag, and I can't figure out what it would be used for. So I bought this from a retired amateur photographer and just did it strictly as a hobby. And Chris, this was in the camera bag. It is a wire with an eyelet on the end of it and a jam nut on it. What would a photographer use this for?
Is that a 1/4-20 thread on the end?
I mean, I could guess that it might be. It kind of looks like it. Do we have any Rogue camera equipment? Should I reach and grab? I don't know if I have any Rogue camera equipment to test it out.
Yeah, I think all of ours, unless you have the GoPro in the...
the
I think
GoPro's
I got
at
a new
home.
camera bag for that.
So my guess would be, it would be like something to prevent against drops. Like if you're on something tall or something, either hanging the camera down somewhere or stopping it from falling a tremendous distance if you did let it go.
Oh, makes sense.
If this is 1/4-20, I wonder if do you think he could have spun the camera around or something? Like maybe like a GoPro or something?
Yeah, almost like sort of like the backwards version of doing the long exposure when you're spinning this flaming steel wool. That's conceivable, I guess.
Well, you knew who you bought this from, right?
Yeah.
Let's ask him. Not right
Sure.
now, but you ask him next time you see
I was
him.
going to say, I don't have his number.
Say, hey, I found a wire in there with an eyelet. What'd you use that for?
If I had to guess, that would be my guess.
I would never strap my camera to it. I don't care
Like
how...
a GoPro would be fine.
But he sold that with the camera.
That's true. He didn't have a GoPro.
No.
Like my initial thought is to lower it down somewhere to be you just set it under interval shoot mode or something like a time lapse or whatever, but just to so it's shooting and then you can get it down into a place and just let it take a bunch of shots and try and get the shot you're looking for in a place you otherwise wouldn't be able to get.
Because it did have a trigger too, didn't it?
Yeah. Remote.
Oh yeah. So yeah, if you have the remote, you can get it down and then try and get it maneuvering around.
That probably makes the most sense. But it's a wire. It's a insulated wire. So you could even standing over a railing, you could maybe take the camera and then let the camera hang and then let it take some
But
photos.
the camera would hang upside down though at that point.
Yeah, but you can just flip
the
the
image.
No.
I do that all the time. We have a gimbal at work that I use upside down because it's easier to use upside down. But then when people are looking at the footage, they're like, "What the heck is this?" I was like, "Just hit flip."
Rotate?
Yeah, rotate 180. You're good.
So yeah, that is probably what it used for. I bet you it was hanging it off edges, cliffs, or whatever.
Interesting.
But
Okay.
I just was like, I didn't know what that was. Surprise piece of camera equipment.
Tune in next week when we know what it's actually for,
Right.
and it's something completely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a personal defense weapon against
Yeah.
rodents while he's filming Redwall the movie or something.
Hey, that's a solid old reference there.
That is a good book.
Yes,
It is
and that was
Redwall.
Redwall was the thing in 5th grade.
It was.
Everyone, it's you haven't read Redwall yet?
It's a mouse that's a
Scandal.
knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still haven't read that.
It's so good.
It's
a
a
really
trilogy,
good book.
isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Yeah, it's,
Well,
it's like very good entry level fantasy.
What's the VR game? It's a little night mouse.
I can't remember now. I know
it
I
looks
can
super
picture
cute, and
it
I
in my
wanted
head.
to buy it, but you're like, well, we're not gonna buy that.
There's a VR mouse game that you
See
leave.
Jamie Heineman.
So what other series did you
I was
have?
going to have another fan theory that Snoke is actually
Palpatine.
more or less. So Palpatine, you know how Luke was able to force project himself?
Yes.
So what these people are saying is Palpatine was able to put his conscience or whatever into another body.
Ooh, that's like the dark side version of that move.
Right.
That would be pretty
I mean,
slick.
look how wretched Snoke
See,
looks.
now
Like,
you're-
he's just gross.
Now you're talking about fan theory that I love because, or not even fan theory, but it's pretty sure it's canon. But the light side of the Force. So if you watch the Clone Wars TV show, when Obi-Wan materializes himself as a blue Force ghost, he was taught that by Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon reached out to Yoda. So Qui-Gon was the first one to do it. So the reason why Sith are so obsessed with living for long periods of time is that they can never materialize in the Force after
Right.
death. So they want to live as long as possible.
That makes it kind of a big
alive.
deal that Anakin can do it at the end of Jedi. then.
Because he really did
Yeah.
truly turn back from the dark side of the Force.
That I like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's awesome. So light side can do that, but dark side can't. So they're obsessed to holding on to living as long as possible.
Right. Well, that's why Palpatine told Vader basically, "I can bring Padme back."
Right. Well, he lied, but
Well,
yeah.
obviously, but that's what they're going for. Like,
Right.
bring eternal life.
So
more or
that
less.
if somehow Palpatine transferred his consciousness before he dies, some poor Death Star worker is like down there sweeping, and Palpatine like right before he hits just sucks into the. Then he's got to get off the ship though.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure more like because obviously Luke and
Yeah,
Anakin get
he'll
off the
project
ship.
somewhere else. Yeah, he probably didn't have to be proximity wise.
You know.
Although I just thought of this too. So I watched the documentary Empire of Dreams, and I want to talk after you watch
You
it.
watched the whole thing?
I did, but I want to watch it again. It is mind-blowingly good.
Okay, I
It
got
is.
home. He was 20 minutes into it, and I was like, I wanted to watch this. He's like, oh, okay, I'll watch something else. And then as soon as I leave, he watches it.
You don't know
We're
how
going to have words.
you don't know how good that documentary is.
Don't
It's-
say anything about it. You're
I
done.
won't. No, I was just gonna say is that so when Empire,
Right.
yeah, right. Kara, spoiler alert. You've seen the movies, so you know. But so you all know, like James Earl Jones was the voice of Darth Vader.
I thought it was the
And-
voice of Yoda.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just kidding.
David Prowse
Prowse.
acted. But he was a muscle man. Did you know that?
No.
He was absolutely ripped.
Really?
Like so when he picks up the rebels and stuff,
He's
he was-
actually picking him up, more or less?
Oh yeah, like he's a complete muscle man. It's insane. They have pictures of him.
So he's
kinda
like the Mountain.
He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, or like
The Mountain.
Get
Arnold,
over here, rebels.
Yeah.
Tell me your plans.
So when nobody knew, they had a fake page in the script in Empire that no one knew Vader was Luke's dad. No one.
I think I knew about that.
So there was a fake page in the script. Not even David Prowse.
So
So
when it actually happened,
So 5 minutes before they shot, who's the director for Empire?
Irvin Kershner. That
Irvin
was George
Kershner.
Lucas's film teacher at
Really?
USC. Yeah.
But he's a really famous director, right? He's done some other stuff, or no?
He's done other stuff, but this is the thing that like the biggest movie that he's done. But yeah, he was like his film theory like professor at USC.
He did a fantastic job.
ridiculously good job.
He pulled Luke aside, or Mark Hamill aside, no, only Mark, and said that David is going to say stuff, but that's not
Do you know what he says? He says Obi-Wan killed your father.
Obi-Wan killed your father.
That's the line in the script is Obi-Wan killed your father.
So not even David Prowse knew that was a thing. So then Mark was the only person besides the director. And when James Earl Jones read it to do the voiceover, he just assumed Darth Vader was lying, which was really cool. So like he didn't even put it together. So it's like no
Interesting.
one knew That's a big flop. So like until it came out in theaters, people didn't realize that it was actually true. And Mark Hamill was like,
You know what I just realized? At the end of Empire, Luke and Darth have this thing where they're like the Rey and and Kylo thing. I totally didn't even remember that was a thing.
Well, so we're talking about Force, and so Luke falls off. You know?
Yeah.
Why didn't Vader just like pick him up with the Force and bring him back? Like, oh, son, come here.
Plot armor. That's how that happened.
But yeah, he lands and then he's like laying there, and then Vader talks to him using the Force. Like,
I totally forgot about that.
And Kylo Ren and Rey do that, but it's assisted by Snoke.
Oh, that's right.
That connection was because like they even feel like the splash of water. Like, Kylo Ren gets like a splash of water from the planet Rey is on or whatever.
Right. Like, I feel like he is Palpatine. So I
think Palpatine is stronger than Snoke, but
yeah, but if this is like the Horcrux version of Palpatine, where it's just like,
Well, I mean, could he have every single power being in somebody else's body, like,
right?
You know, but so some of their reasoning behind it was his knowledge of the Old Republic and Vader. Like, he just has this deep knowledge of Darth Vader.
I have a newfound love for Palpatine after meeting Ian McDiarmid.
Oh, he's so cool. That's for sure.
And like seeing him do the laugh on the stage and drop the mic and build up hype for the new movie is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So
that would make more sense too. Why Palpatine laughed at the end, if he's able to transport his consciousness into other things.
Like, what if he was trying to like raise up Kylo Ren to take over his body then?
Maybe. Take over Kylo Ren.
Yeah, and that's like what his thing is. Like, he needs him to be like truly 100% committed to the dark side for it to happen or something.
Right.
That
interesting.
Or Snoke is Maul.
I know, it's just his whole life is getting cut in half. Like, not again.
I can feel it building. Strike out, or then he gets cut in half again.
That's what he felt was just deja vu, not
right.
And see, that was the other thing was in Return of the Jedi, Palpatine doesn't believe there's any way on God's green earth that Vader would turn against him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the same with Snoke. He didn't think Kylo would ever
turn against
him. And he died by his ally, his apprentice, both times.
Oh, man. Yep.
Except Vader turned to the light, so what is Kylo Ren going to do?
He's got his Knights of Ren.
They're going to dive into more of that in the next movie.
I was going to say, people do think that Kylo and Rey are going to, like, Kylo's going to become light, and they're going to team up together, and whatever. But
I thought at the end of The Last Jedi that they were going to flip teams, and I thought that Rey was going to go dark and Kylo was going to go light.
That could still happen.
And I was like, that'd be such a cool like thing to see.
Could happen in this next one. I say.
I think her her new white outfit's kind of like.
She's tricking people.
Maybe.
Yeah, they're trying to.
Dark Rey is actually a very popular cosplay. Believe it or not, it's kind of cool.
That's sweet.
There's a Dark Ahsoka too.
There's a Dark Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. Maybe Rey is Ahsoka's daughter. Oh, so, okay. Here's what I'm excited for. So I mentioned that we're going to have a 20-hour podcast after the last movie, just because we're going to have so much to talk about. But before the next movie comes out, we have The Mandalorian coming out. Cassian's getting a show. And word on the street is Obi-Wan is going to have his own show.
Ewan McGregor is in talks with Disney to sign on again as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I mean,
he could probably ask for any amount of money he wants at this point. That's like the only thing that people want is Ewan McGregor.
The only thing I feel bad about is, so if we get that movie, that's all fine and dandy. I just feel bad, again, at Solo's reception because of The Last Jedi's reception. Solo was a fantastic movie and could be like an indicator of what Star Wars stories could be, and they were going to make a Boba Fett movie. And I just think that would be awesome.
They're trying to appease people with
So maybe they're going to try to go.
It might come back around.
Because, like, the public wanted Obi-Wan. So maybe if they give the public Obi-Wan, and then we all ask for Boba Fett as well. But I mean, I would take Obi-Wan over Boba Fett because he's my favorite.
Right. But I think Boba Fett's my favorite. He's by far my favorite bounty hunter. Boba Fett's awesome.
He's really cool. What about Cad Bane?
He's got a goofy hat.
And a goofy voice. I mean, it's Boba Fett. My backpack.
What about Jango Fett?
Jets.
Jango Fett. Boo.
You see
what do you mean, boo?
The worst Fett.
You see him for all of 2 minutes, and that was he dies.
The only thing that's cool about him is that's where Boba Fett came from. That's the only cool thing about Jango.
And Captain Rex and.
You like Boba Fett because Daniel Logan, who played young Boba Fett, likes your stuff on Instagram.
That's right, he does.
It is kind of cool. That's
It
the
is.
fun thing
That's
about
like our celebrity
Kevin Hart
status.
gave me a shout out on Vine way back in the day.
Yeah, you
I
got
miss
Kevin
Vine.
Hart, I got Daniel Logan.
That's not a fair
I
trade.
got a rock.
Every once in a blue moon, I'll post something Star Wars, and Daniel Logan will like it. When we were at Galaxy's Edge, he liked a few things.
Yeah, he did. So Galaxy's Edge. So they're in the there's a cookbook coming out, and it has a whole bunch of Star Wars recipes in it, and a lot of them are going to be things you can get at Galaxy's Edge.
What was the first thing that I told you
Kara's
about?
like, I want the recipe for Meiluron juice. I want the recipe for the Bantha or the fuzzy tauntaun with the numbing agent. That'd be fun to recreate.
You probably have to be like a licensed doctor to acquire that stuff or something.
I'll sneak some lidocaine from work, guys.
Hashtag sarcastic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Dear NSA, JK.
There was a funny thread on Reddit the other day, and it said, if you can reach out to the FBI agent.
FBA. Okay, so I think we should title this one, Words Are Hard, Jeremy
For Jeremy.
Edition.
Yeah, for me. So we had our 2 minutes of pre-roll, and then we had all of our camera set up and everything because all of the stuff was on location at the Lego build. And I have been mispronouncing and forgetting and making crazy words all morning. And we almost didn't do the podcast because I can't talk today, but I've been holding it together. Anyways, the thread was called, if you could tell something to the FBI agent that's watching you, what would you say? You know, or whatever. Like, you just reach out to them directly. So some people were saying some pretty funny. It's like, I'm sorry. One of the funny ones is like, you are now just as disturbed as I am, Mr. FBI agent, because if I watch it or look at it, you do too, or whatever.
That's so funny.
But it was just kind of really funny. And some of them were like, hey, there were some cute ones, but I just thought that was really funny because you said,
Yeah, Dear NSA.
Dear NSA.
Did you hear that? I don't know how familiar you are with the whole Edward Snowden thing or whatever.
Oh, I'm very familiar with it.
So like that. I just saw something. I don't know. Yeah, okay, I'm going to hit eject on this. I don't know enough about it to talk about it, but there's something about something being reinstated for the NSA of that was related to like the stuff that Snowden had exposed.
Oh, really? So, yeah.
So like possibly bringing back some of like the self-observation things.
Got it. I'm not surprised just because of all the state of all the attacks in America and everything.
Yeah, the world's a weird, messed up place, and people react weird and messed up to it. So anyway, let's get away from
We're
that.
a fun, lighthearted.
Yeah,
so
no,
in the Empire
I
of
bringing that
Dreams
up.
documentary, all the movies in the 70s were starting to get really depressive, and they said that Star Wars made
Depressive?
movies. See? Words are hard. Depressing or oppressive. I don't know. Depressive. Anyways. Okay, so they said that Star Wars made movies fun again. And that, it was a really...
Yeah, there were a lot of really like gritty, dark, like hyper violent films coming out.
Lots of horror, I feel, from that era.
Yeah.
And then boom, it Star Wars was like a fun thing. And then it's so hard to catch lightning in a bottle twice. And really, the trilogy was well received all 3 times, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
And just learning about George Lucas, I highly recommend. I want to have a podcast where we talk just about that, but I'll wait until you see it.
Have you watched it?
I haven't watched it yet. It's been around for a while.
2004.
Yeah,
you can buy it.
Wait, it's been out since 2004?
Yeah, I've seen it. I think it was on Netflix for a long time. And it's just one of those things where it's like I had added to my list. And I just never got around to watching it.
Yeah, I pulled the plug on it, and it was like I didn't play with my phone or do any other distracting things because I was that into it.
Interesting.
But it came in 2004, and you can buy it for $2.99 on Amazon. But it's only standard def, which is just kind of funny. But
the HD standardization didn't come around until 2007.
And then Kara, they have a documentary. It was recommended. I can't wait to watch it. It like made me like I got done watching Empire of Dreams and just motivated and inspired. But it makes me want to study film. Watching that documentary because just like the way that he was in Hollywood and how many big directors and people that he knew, but he really wasn't like. What he had to do to get to where he was, just fascinating. Anyways, there's a documentary that was recommended about the 501st. It just came out this year.
And they will be at DuluthCon. They got back to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
That is going to make it awesome.
That's huge.
Funny story about that. So the guy wrote me back and he said, "Oh, we're super excited to be there. This sounds awesome, right?" And he was like, "Well, can we have a booth because we need to let everybody know about the Empire." Right? It's the 501st. And
Kara, you can finally show him your identification.
I can. Oh my gosh. It's in my purse behind me. Anyway.
Everyday carry.
It is an everyday carry for me. You never know when you're going to run into a stormtrooper. You never know. Anyway, so I wrote back to him, and I was like, yeah, we can get you a booth, yada, yada, yada. And then at the very end, I was like, hashtag the Empire did nothing wrong.
So, because like the 501st
awesome.
is the specific Empire.
Yeah. Empire Dark
cosplays,
Side, because like they've got Treyas and stuff like that too.
But
so.
they did a documentary on it. It was recommended on the Empire of Dreams, and it was like making me tear up just from the trailer because it's just they show kids' last wish will be to like meet a famous character, and
well, that's why I want to be in the Rebel Legion.
There's one where the stormtroopers carried the casket out of a young boy.
Oh,
They went and visited
dang.
him in the hospital, and then
Okay,
he loved Star Wars so much. I'm just welling up just talking about it, and so then it cut to them. He had passed away, and they made his dreams come true. But then the parents had reached out, and then the stormtroopers carried the casket.
When I die,
pallbearers.
if I die young, I want you guys to have clone troopers.
Oh, sure, the clones.
And like make sure they're good, strong clone troopers, and then a couple of Ahsokas in there.
I'll get D. Bradley Baker to come out for you.
Yes, please.
He's the voice of all the clones in the Clone Wars.
And I want him like to do all the
eulogy?
speaking. Yes, the eulogy.
Oh my goodness.
In Captain Rex voice.
And we'll do a live stream of it.
Kara died, but we just gained 1 million viewers.
So, anyways, that looked like a really, really good documentary, and I can't wait to watch that one too. And then to be able to see those guys in person, and it really motivates me as we've been wanting to join the 501st for a while, or the Rebel Legion, or both. And
Are you allowed to have dual citizenship?
yes,
Okay.
Yeah,
I just need to come up with a dark side.
but you have to submit your costume straight on from the side, from the
Maybe
back,
I should do
all the four
Bastila.
sides.
Because I like Bastila's costume 1,000,000 times better than regular Bastila. Like, I don't like the yellow and the brown together for Bastila. It's like, no.
But you like, so we play Galaxy of Heroes, and they have light side. So in Knights of the Old Republic, you were played as
Based
Revan.
on your choices throughout the
And now
game.
you play the game, determine your light side or dark side. And if you went dark side in the second one, you took your character's best friend with you to the dark side as
Bastila.
well. Bastila. So there's Bastila Fallen, or there's
Do you
regular
really say
Bastila.
Bastila?
It's Bastila, but we say Badstila.
I call her Bastila.
It's Bastila. But
It's-
my
it's
words are
all-
hard today.
Carabast.
It's all Latin to me right now.
Oh man,
She's super cool.
she's super cool. You played KOTOR, didn't you?
I watched somebody play it, and this is back in like 2002 or whenever it came out.
Talking about it right now,
Such
I
a
want
good
to. I want to play it right now. It's so good.
When you start your
missed-
Twitch channel, just do KOTOR live streams.
That would be a good one.
Dressed as Ahsoka.
Chris, I missed
Hey.
that style of RPG. Did you ever? So it's you
It's
set
like Fable-ish, right?
So well, you pick what attack's gonna come next, but then the character does all the animation and everything, and it's turn based, but you put your moves in a hopper. So it's like you pick.
Oh, so it's kind of like Final Fantasy 12-ish.
probably what I would guess. I haven't played it, but that's
so-
how it works.
Yeah,
It's like
in that you basically set like, for lack of a word, like a macro or whatever. Like, here's the order of what's going to happen.
Yep.
Except that in that you can have automatic responses. Like, if you take X amount of damage, then cast a healing spell. So there's a little bit
it.
more advanced. But I know what you're saying. You're like program a set of moves, and then it like is more cinematically played out.
yeah, and you could have like 8 or 10 force powers, and then they were all assigned to F keys. So when you started a battle, you could do like days would be like F5, and then if you're and you can move them around. So like you put them in the queue. So
Did you play it on
days and
PC
then
or
force.
Xbox?
Xbox, it's different because you have to LB, RB through the things, but I have it for PC.
I think I played it on Xbox when
It's
I first.
really nice.
Like
It's really nice on
original
computer.
Xbox.
The Xbox.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Xbox, the first Xbox, not the Xbox One.
Right.
Xbox and their darn naming, whatever.
What is it? Xbox
Convention, naming convention.
Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox One S.
What do you think the next Xbox is going to be called?
It better not be something dumb.
Is it going to be like the Xbox 362?
Xbox 720.
Or the Xbox, the prequel, or something. Yeah,
Xbox the pre-sequel.
the pre-sequel.
What's the name of the new PlayStation?
PlayStation 5.
But yeah,
Oh, it's just a PlayStation 5. Okay.
there's something just so clean and easy about just having the number.
It is.
PS,
So
1, 2, 3, 4,
why
5.
did they decide to?
Well, Nintendo's weird.
Yeah,
That's true.
Nintendo is.
Yeah,
I saw this funny meme about controllers. And so it was PlayStation, PlayStation was the top row, Xbox was the middle row, and then Nintendo was the bottom row.
Nintendo is just...
Yeah, and then the PlayStation is like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's literally like the exact same controller. And then Xbox says change is good, and Nintendo said cocaine.
Yeah. Because you've got a controller, then you got it like this, then you get this again, and then you get two pieces.
Well, it started with the candy bar, then it was the dog bone, and then it was the N64,
which was the weirdest one.
And then like what would have been like the good version of the N64 controller, the GameCube controller, which is like the best controller ever.
It's a great controller.
And then then the nunchuck thing, and then like the
gamepad,
the gamepad, and then now
you have the Joy-Cons.
The Joy-Cons. It's just
they're all over the place.
Well, speaking of controllers, we just got new controllers in the mail.
I have 2 Super Nintendo USB controllers out in the car.
Ooh.
Because
for playing Pokemon Go or Pokemon Team Rocket Edition.
Ooh.
Are you gonna? Oh yeah, and the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
So we have we told you about this? I don't think we have.
No.
So my younger brother, for his birthday, I think it was,
he got a
one of
Retro
his
Pi
friends.
with 1,000.
I mean, every single old school game, every single console you can think of, the games are on his Raspberry Pi.
Nice.
So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and copy everything onto a USB drive and put it into
on our
ours.
Retro Pi.
Nice.
I was thinking if I had the time to, but I don't. But I should make and just donate it to the Encounter, a Retro Pi arcade.
Nick, when I was living with him, he got an old cabinet and he was working on turning it into
a Retro Pi arcade.
Yeah.
And then I could put on like Super Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back.
You know what would be sick? To get like an old gaming console, whether it's an N64 or a Sega or something, gut it and make a housing unit for your Raspberry Pi inside that.
That'd be pretty cool too.
There already is.
Oh, is there?
When I ordered the Super Nintendo controllers, it popped up with, you might like this, and it was it was a mini Super Nintendo that the Pi went in the back, and then the something went in the front that you could connect to it.
But it's mini. I'm talking about like a real.
Yeah,
you get,
but I mean,
you
it's
get
like
the aesthetic of the. Yeah, you could probably buy a broken SNES for
That's what I'm saying.
$10.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, and just use the shell.
Right.
Exactly.
Or you could probably 3D print a Super NES shell.
Absolutely.
Well, then you have to get the stickers and stuff.
Yeah.
Or paint.
Was it you that did your 360 to look like an original Nintendo?
Yeah, I bought a vinyl for it.
Oh, it was a vinyl? Okay.
Yeah, or a front plate. It was my 360. It was a front plate. I painted it.
Yeah, you painted it.
I painted it. That's right, because I had a white Xbox 360, and then the face plates were removable, so I took it off. I made it look like an old Nintendo.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Really?
Yeah, you just got the vertical gray stripe, and then the other little red, power button.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Wow.
You still have that somewhere?
No,
I was going to say.
I have had like every rendition of the 360. So I had that 360, and those were the ones that read Ring of Death, which mine never did. But
mine did multiple times. Like I said, I owned 5 Xboxes.
And then
See, that's the nice thing about PlayStation. I mean,
don't.
like,
All right, no, you
I'm
two
just
you leave. I'll stay here and film the
Have you ever had any problems with your PlayStation?
Never one time.
Boom. Although I will say this, my PlayStation's awesome, but I haven't had any problems with the new Xbox yet.
No, they're really good.
We each have our own console and Xbox and PlayStation.
Except Kara's going back to being a PC gamer now.
I want to get KOTOR for Xbox.
No, play it on PC. It's so much
But
better.
I originally played it on Xbox.
I own it on Xbox. I'm saying it's better on PC, and play it on PC.
If you really want, you can just plug an Xbox controller into the PC too, and still have the
and then hook it up to the TV.
controller experience.
Yeah,
It's the exact same game though.
it's different.
How's it different?
You can mod it if you want to.
It plays better, and they remastered the graphics on the PC.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. They won't go back and do that with Xbox. Did you have any more theories for us, Kara?
Oh,
yeah, sorry, we just went way
Yeah, we did. Way on right field there. No, that was my last theory. Sorry.
Well, so I like cars, and I have a lot of funny car stories, but we want to talk about one in specific today.
Well,
Chris.
yeah, so this one involves Jeremy. So back in the day, Jeremy and I lived in the same house.
Yep.
And the house was close enough to where I worked that I never really needed a car for a lot of stuff, but then I decided I was going to buy a car, so I bought this Mazda Protege.
I loved that car.
And this thing, like...
It's a 5-speed.
Yeah, like it was pretty solid. Like there wasn't anything majorly wrong with it except there's like a wheel bearing issue, but
Right.
like that wasn't a big deal either. So there's a casino in Carlton, just a little bit away from where we lived. And I was going out there. I can't remember why exactly we were going out that way, but me and my buddy Lee were driving out there. And you can take the highway, or there's this like back roads frontage road that you can take to get there. And it's like, well, I'm going to take the frontage road. And all of a sudden, like, my car dies. I'm like, what the, it's like, so we're like stuck on the side of the road. I pop the thing, and I'm looking, and one of the serpentine belt broke. And like, and I'm looking at it, it was just like, it was really dry rotted. I don't know how I didn't notice it before, but like, it was just like, it was ready to go at any minute. And so, like, and I'm looking at it, and I remember Lee was just incredibly angry about this thing, right? So I'm looking at it, and he grabs it out of my hands and throws it into the woods because he was so angry. And I was like, how am I going to know which serpentine belt this was now? Because I'm like trying to find the numbers on it and stuff. But it's gone. I'm like, okay, well,
cool.
There's that. But now it's like, how are we going to get the car out of here? Like, I was 21, 2, somewhere in that range at this time. So it's like, it's like not flush with tow money.
Right.
So I get a hold of Jeremy and like, hey, can you tow me home from here? And he's like, yeah, no problem. And he had a Dodge. The first manual transmission vehicle I ever drove, actually, was his Dodge Dakota.
And then the Protege was a 5-speed as well.
Yep. So, because I tried, I remember the Dakota had a little shift indicator that told you like the optimal time to turn green. You go bloop and you shift. But then anyway, rabbit hole on manual transmission vehicles. Anyway, so Jeremy shows up and we get all hooked up and everything, and then I'm in the car. I'm in the car and he's in the truck. And so we're going, everything's fine. And it's from there to where we were going is maybe like 3 miles or whatever. And we were well over halfway there. Mm-hmm. And, several 90-degree turns later, and all of a sudden we're taking a corner and the steering wheel locks up. I'm like, ah! So I hit the brakes. He's turning and I hit the brakes, and he just starts like dragging me, and I'm like skipping, going, and I come, no joke, within like 4 inches of just wrecking a fire hydrant.
And we're talking like breaking off Hollywood style, water coming off everywhere. We were cruising.
like he was swinging me around like a flail at this point.
You didn't notice?
No, he did.
All happened. It's like the inertia and everything. Like he's accelerating around a corner as I'm trying to stop. So like it takes a second. Like the tension hits, it goes twonk or whatever, and like just the momentum of just what had happened up to that point was enough to make the car go skip, like strafing sideways. And like it's like I hit and go up onto the curb and almost hit this fire hydrant.
Oh my gosh!
It was so close.
And I was like, whoo, like it's right there. I'm like, holy crap! And then Jeremy comes out and he's like, what happened? And I'm like, the steering wheel just locked up. And he's like, how? And then we realized when you're getting towed and you're operating the steering wheel, you need the key
in the on position.
In the on position, otherwise the steering wheel can lock. And it was just something I knew this. We both knew this, and I just forgotten to do it. So, but we had made so many 90-degree turns up to that point. I just hadn't gone far enough to lock the steering wheel yet. And it was like, it was so close. And yet we just barely managed to not wreck this fire hydrant.
Oh, that would have been bad. I wouldn't want to have to dealt with that. Because it's like, again, you're 21, whatever, and 22. You don't have enough money. You have a liability on your car. So it's like, yeah, your insurance would have paid for it. But your insurance rates would probably go through the roof, and then everything else.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's it's not explicitly legal to be towing another vehicle,
right?
Like that. People do it all the time. It's a thing,
right?
But like it's like
back in the day when there was lax on regulations.
Yeah, it's like usually in the scenario like we were in, you're supposed to get towed by an actual tow truck,
right?
Probably because of things like that.
Right, so you don't take out a fire hydrant. But yeah, I'm just driving down the road, I look in my rearview mirror, and all of a sudden we're going around the corner, and then everything had been going great, and I look in my rearview mirror, and Chris's car just goes so wide, and then just right up on the curb, and then just misses the fire extinguisher, or the fire hydrant.
How much trouble would you have been in if you had hit the fire hydrant?
Well, first I would have had to shut the water off, and I'm sure the city would have charged Chris or both of us together probably for all the water used, and then to get out there and repair it, which
probably been in trouble for towing a vehicle with a vehicle.
Probably like a misdemeanor fine for towing a vehicle inappropriately, and then pay the cost of the thing. Like, I doubt anything like jail or anything like that, but just like a lot of expense.
Yeah.
And then
embarrassment.
And then I go from just needing to replace a belt on the car to like the car probably being pretty bent up.
Not to mention like broken and busted, but then the water would have been probably blasting underneath your car and flipped it over or something. You know, oh man.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, whew.
So did anything, like, besides the serpentine belt being, like, skipped across like
No,
that and
it was
everything,
fine.
nothing broke?
Maybe
no
a small
axles
flat
or,
spot
like...
on the tire or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, because it was because the tires could still move, but they were rolling and skipping, so it was just like one of those things where it's like,
Gotcha.
like it probably tantamount to just squealing your tires a little bit, like on acceleration and
Yeah.
braking. So
Almost, let's just say I'm glad it went the way it did.
yeah,
In hindsight, that one's always really nice.
Oh, jeez.
but yeah, so that was an exciting thing that happened.
I can't wait. I have a lot of car stories to tell about David and I. I should probably have him on, though, maybe for an episode and just sit and talk about car stories, because I have a lot of car stories.
I'm
Everything
sure
under
you
the
do.
sun. Oh, man. We used to work at Wendys. There was one time, so when David and I were in high school, we used to, like, ram into each other because our cars were cheap. And so we're sitting in the drive-thru, and it was one of the hardest times David had ever hit me. He came around the corner of the drive-thru and hit me at about 15 miles an hour at the Wendys drive-thru. And then the guy in the cashier, because you got the two windows, the cashier guy just all of a sudden, like a squirrel or whatever, said, "Whoa, is everything okay?"
Was it Ricky?
No, it wasn't Ricky, but it was. They got the headset on, everything. He just jumps out the window and looks at
What
us.
did he
I'm
look like?
He was a younger kid. It looks
It looks like
that's
generic
right.
Wendy's employee.
Yeah, 2005, male, dark hair, young, probably between 16 and 18 years old. In 2004, 2005.
2004, December 2004, they opened.
So then it would have been summertime of 2005.
Definitely was working.
Spring of 2005.
Skinny?
Yeah, probably. Were you there at opening?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you started Wendys, huh?
It was like 13 years ago, 14 years ago.
15 years ago.
Well, I'm saying that where this event happened.
This event
yeah.
14 years ago, yeah.
And so I just remember though, and then so then
This event can almost have its driver's license.
right. But I just remember the guy looking at me, and I'm like, he's like, "Is everything okay?" And he just flew out of the window, and I looked at him, I'm like, I know him, and he's like, "Yeah, but he just hit you." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's."
Do you
what
see
we
the
do.
vehicle I'm in?
That's what we do.
Does it look like I care?
Is this the one where you got hooked under the bumper?
No, that was down by Mexican Lindo's.
Mexico window.
Mexican Lindos.
So we're at the stoplight, and then so I'm here, and then David's back. He's got a big blue 80s Chevy pickup truck, and I have the Dakota. And so I had the ball hitch that hung down and everything. So David goes, tink, as he goes to stop. So I look at my mirror, and I just mean mug the rearview mirror. And so he's like, tink, 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 tink. So I look at him like, push the clutch in, put it in reverse. So he goes, so we're just, tires are starting to spin. Then all of a sudden, his truck goes, and drives up onto my truck, and then hooks on the ball hitch. I was like, oh, then the light turns green. I'm like, So I put my hand out the window. We gotta just go. So he's like, okay. So I put it in gear and I start towing him, and I'm holding on to the bumper, and so I go, and then we go to make the turn, and then the 90-degree turn, and he hits the brakes, and all four tires break loose on my truck, and I'll never forget it. It just go, I'm like trying to keep it straight. I'm like, don't hit the brakes. So then we turn, I go up the hill, and so his truck goes slunk all the way to one side, so I'm pulling him by the front corner of his truck up the hill. I stop, and it's like, on a stick, of course my parking brake doesn't work because it's an old truck, so I put it in reverse, and then the engine compression is what holds the vehicle.
Yeah.
Well, if you have an old tired engine, there's not much compression anymore. So then because there's so much weight pulling down the hill, the truck's going and to get him apart, we had to get a high lift jack, and I had to jump on the back of my truck while he jacked up the front end of his truck to get him to pop and separate.
Oh, gosh.
They completely hooked up. It was ridiculous.
Oh, man.
The stuff we used to do. I got pulled over on the Hummer because I didn't have a motorcycle license, and the Hummer was over 50cc. So the cop's like, "Oh, you got to turn around and go home." He didn't take it away, but he's just like, "You can't be driving this."
What
There's
you're
a little
saying
tiny
is
motorcycle.
it wasn't Scott. who
No,
pulled
it
you
wasn't.
over.
No, it wasn't. But oh man, just so many stories, so many car stories.
This is all before I knew Jeremy.
Oh, I was gonna tell the Mike Fish car story.
Maybe we should save that for next time and wrap her up for this time. We're at about 55 minutes.
Perfect.
gonna
I
say-
will save.
There's one other thing that's super big happened with Star Wars, though.
All right, let's hit it.
Hit it.
Mattel released the Star Wars Barbies.
Oh,
yes.
That's
How
a
did
big deal
guys-
for you.
That's a big deal for me. I want all three of them.
For you really want them? Did you used to
What?
play with Barbies?
Oh boy. I have a tote of Barbies at home at my parents' house. A tote, like packed Barbies, Barbie clothes, Barbie accessories. I've got it all.
Wow.
Awesome.
Now, here's the thing, though. They're $99.99 a piece.
Ooh, that's a spicy meatball.
They are not on sale. They're up for pre-sale right now. They are currently, after being on pre-sale for 2 days, they are currently one of the best pre-order sellers on Amazon.
Really?
And don't look.
I said you're not going to get over to the camera. That's a lot of money for a display Barbie.
You know how much that's going to be worth in the future?
Tell me.
A lot.
Like as much as a decrepit stifle.
That's a lot.
They're also, who was it? Oh, in the top 20 of Mattel's best-selling toys.
Already?
Mattel, yeah.
Dang.
Top 20 best-selling
That's crazy.
toys.
That is
huge.
crazy. They've been around a million years.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
60 years.
So
Tune
I
back next
will
time
be
and see
getting
if
all
Kara gets
three.
the Barbies. We will see.
I'll be getting them all.
Oh, so which ones? Which three are they?
Oh,
releasing?
sorry. So they're like the haute couture kind of style Barbies, and so there's Leia, R2, and Darth Vader.
The R2 Barbie, a Darth Vader Barbie, and the Leia.
That's why I say they're haute couture. So it's like if somebody went
Stylized.
Disney bounding,
Yes,
in a very fashionable way as like R2D2.
Got it.
Cool.
Well, tune back
It's
next week to
sick.
see if Kara gets her Barbie dolls. We just want to say thank everybody for watching and just like, subscribe, comment on our videos if you like what we're doing. We love you guys so much. We're having fun doing this. I can't wait. Tomorrow we're going to be doing some green screen filming, so I'm looking forward to doing that. And you can come back and see what we're going to be doing with that. And
Hit the notification bell.
yeah.
And as always, may the force be with you.